Hi and welcome to Plant CEO. We're here with Dale Vince, the environmentalist and founder of Ecotricity. Hey Dale, how are you doing?
I'm all right. A bit kind of talked out, but I'll find some energy from somewhere.
Good. We can have some of the plant-based food afterwards.
Something like that.
So you've just come off the keynote, which was great, and we had a little discussion about Denmark and their move to plant-based diet with the dietary guidelines. You mentioned about the NHS and school system in the UK. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what work you're doing with the NHS?
Yeah. So, I mean, the school one first. There's a bizarre law in our country at the moment that forces schools to serve meat and dairy to children. Apart from the fact that it's anti-choice, it's, of course, anti-medical science. You know, we're feeding unhealthy products to kids by law. So we're trying to change that. I think we will. I think we'll succeed. And then when it comes to NHS, an organization of medical professionals reached out to us to say, would we join their campaign to change the menus in hospitals? And of course, it's like, it should be obvious that if you're in hospital, the last thing you need, right, are foods that are bad for you in your recovery. Their idea is just to make plants the default. And if you want to ask for animal products, that's an option, but you have to ask. So just to flip the moment you have to ask for the vegan option.
Yeah.
Just change that round.
Yeah.
It's been done in New York.
That's right. And hugely successful with Mayor Eric Adams doing that and also introducing it into prisons as well, which is amazing.
Yes,
I have that as a default.
I had a conversation about prisons just the other day, actually. And you know, I mean, prisoners are literally prisoners, aren't they? They don't get to choose food.
Yeah.
And I just think it's wrong that, I mean, prison diets are worse than hospital diets. But, you know, I think it's a crime, actually, what prisoners are forced to eat and not allowed to eat, which is good, healthy stuff.
Totally. So where does the passion for, I guess, animal rights come from? What happened? What happened? You know, I was a vegetarian before. There was certain types of media that influenced my decision to go vegan. What happened with you? And you've been vegetarian for most of your life as well before going vegan?
Yeah.
What was the trigger point?
Since I was a teenager. So as a kid, I lived in the country and my parents, they had animals. They had some chickens from time to time. I don't know if they had pigs or calves or something like that. And of course, it was great to be around animals. But then when I learned that the future of those animals was to be killed, to be eaten, that was quite upsetting. And I would look at those creatures and think, well, they've got brothers and sisters, they've got mothers and fathers, just like I have, right? And how would I feel if that was happening to my family? And I always found meat also quite revolting in texture to chew and swallow and stuff like that. But to connect the two things, that's what you're eating, the body of an animal that doesn't deserve that. As a kid, I just rejected the idea of eating animals.
Yeah. And we're here at the conference. Why don't a lot of people, especially climate people, understand the first thing that you mentioned earlier to do, especially for your own personal emissions, is to stop eating meat and dairy? What can be done communication-wise for climate activists to get that message through a bit stronger? And also for the younger generation, schools is a great start, by the way. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And we also need to reconfirm that message. But what else can be done with the people making decisions?
Yeah, I mean, what you're referring to there is what I've taken to calling the cow in the room. For people that are climate activists and nature activists and generally animal lovers, which is most of us, we have a blind spot when it comes to our diets. So, the biggest single driver of the climate crisis and the nature crisis and the human health crisis actually is the eating of animal products, but we seem to overlook that. So we're trying to highlight that. I'm writing a book about it and giving lots of talks about it. And in my world, energy, transport, and food are the three things that we needed to tackle. 80% of all of our carbon footprints are in there. Energy and transport are well underway in terms of being solved. You know, that revolution is happening.
Totally.
Food, not so much.
No.
We need government to step up. We actually need them to control the fast food industry, the processed food industry. We need proper dietary advice so that people don't think just because it's in a shop, it must be okay.
Yeah,
that's what we think. Now,
totally.
we know with tobacco that we haven't allowed that. Roller shutter doors, unbranded packaging, pictures of diseased organs, right? But tobacco is on the same carcinogen list with the World Health Organization as bacon.
Yeah.
Right? But bacon sits in a fridge with a happy smiley pig face on it or something like that. But it's as bad for you as tobacco.
Yeah.
And we regulate them differently. So I think we need government to intervene. We do need to change diet in schools, prisons, hospitals, because that's like public sector in a way, and it's, anyway, it's a good start, but I'm going to stop talking now.
Yeah. So I just saw a plane go past.
Did you?
Last one, just on EcoJet, is it?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and your plans with? I always think that putting batteries on a plane would make it really heavy.
Yes.
So how did you solve that?
By not doing it.
So what did you do to make it? What's the tech?
The tech is hydrogen.
It is hydrogen. Okay, right.
Using a fuel cell.
Okay, got it.
And you can make electricity that way with no emissions. You don't burn it.
Right.
You just, the only byproduct is water.
Yeah.
And then with the electricity, stick them into electric motors and propellers.
Okay.
Bingo.
And how far will it travel?
The first one will have a range of 500 miles and carry 70 people.
Okay.
Within about 18 months, we reckon a couple hundred people and 1,000 miles.
Okay, wow.
So we'll fly to Europe in 2 or 3 years' time.
And your plan is to create a fleet of these?
Sure.
Is that the...
Yeah.
Right.
It's an airline.
Yeah. But it's not like a private, like, you know...
No.
It's...
No. Yeah, no, we'll be a carrier. We should be hopefully in the skies in a year, something like that, domestically flying across Britain.
Yeah.
But for me, the power of this is not so much the saved emissions. They are important, but flying is, I don't know, 7% of global emissions or something like that. The power is in the story that there's nothing that we can't do. That we don't have to give up all of the things we like to get to net zero.
Right.
Even flying can be done on a net zero basis. That's really important for persuading people to come with us.
Yeah, totally. I wish you luck with that. And with the cow in the room, how can people get involved in that campaign as well?
I'm not really sure whether we've got any kind of mechanism set up for that. But the one thing everybody can do is stop eating animals, right? Talk to everybody you know about it. You don't have to do it overnight. Just start stopping eating animals.
Thank you so much, Dale.
Pleasure.
Cheers.